All right, so we're talking about the divergence between moral conviction and institutional judgment. It takes maturity and intellectual honesty to recognize that many within the current legal and medical framework do not define the beginning of human life at fertilization. Therefore, do not assign criminal weight to post-fertilizational loss. Understanding that framework does not require agreement with it. Wisdom allows acknowledgement of how and why institutions reason as they do, even when that reasoning is fundamentally rejected. Okay, it's a flawed notion, right? The idea that the fertilization is not the starting of a pregnancy, it's the implantation. Therefore, you can allow these birth control pills, which are abortifacient, to be sold and everything. So you have to be mature about this situation, and to be able to understand all this requires um, it's like on the job training, if you will, of instead of book smarts, right? It's not book smarts, it's street smarts, to be able to go out there and file a complaint with this College of Physicians and Surgeons of Nova Scotia and get this information from them, and to see how they how flawed their reasoning is, and then to actually file a criminal complaint and get rejected for these nonsensical reasons, and then after that appeal it and get that the actual wording from them, to be able to understand their flawed reasoning. But at the end of the day, they are it's a flawed reasoning, and this case has never been tried, right? The facts of the case have never been tried. There's no there hasn't been dismissed on the merits. It's just procedure and procedure and procedure. Well, let's get rid of the procedure and actually look at the facts of the case, right? However, disagreement over definitions does not dissolve the underlying ethical conflict. From a scientific viewpoint that recognizes human life as the beginning of fertilization. This is the scientific viewpoint that recognizes human life as the beginning of fertilization. I don't think any reasonable argument can be made against that. The destruction of that life through a known pharmacological mechanism carries grave criminality. Right, so it's alleged that she is culpable of this felonious. Well, what is it? Is the grave, the worst possible crime that there could have ever been carried out. Right, this is, this lady killed in excess of 1,000 human lives. Right, children. Right, these are viable pregnancies. Right, if material facts were not disclosed to the patient, serious questions arise regarding informed consent and fiduciary duty. These are not trivial concerns. They strike at the core of medical ethics. It is very, very important. There has been no acquittal and no merits-based trial. The court has tested, no court has tested the facts, heard expert evidence, or issued findings. The matter has been closed procedurally rather than adjudicated substantively. That distinction is critical. The absence of prosecution is not equivalent to a judicial determining that nothing wrongful occurred. I'll read that one more time, right? So the absence of prosecution, the absence of the dismissal of the complaint without investigation does not equate to an acquittal, right? It does not, right? And that's very, very important to remember. And yeah, okay, she's weaseled her way out of getting investigated, and she weaseled her way out of getting convicted, because there's nobody that's willing to listen for. I was trying to explain this, and they're always like so. As soon as they understand the thing, and they ask the question, well, you got to hurry up. You got to hurry up. What is the rush? I don't understand the rush. Why do I have to hurry up? And I will take no more questions, and there will be no further appeal, and you cannot provide any further information. When I was doing the surgeons, College of Surgeons in Nova Scotia, the College of Physician Surgeons and Physicians of No, whatever it's called. And that guy was all like, "You didn't give us the evidence," and they're not going to ask for more. I got all the time in the world. I mean, everybody has all the time in the world to properly investigate this matter. No, 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 we got to do it right now. Hey, it's going to be really fast, and yeah, you didn't give us the thing, and so we're going to close the thing, and there's no more appeals. Well, if you would have just asked me for additional, if you just asked the question, I would have been able to what were the questions. I mean, the questions were foolish. I mean, it was foolish. I did mention that in my previous video. The questions that they were asking was was foolish. One of the questions was, did you take a DNA test? I'm like, well, no, because, and the reason that I didn't take a DNA test is because it's not, you know uh, it's not a normal thing to carry out a DNA test on a 1 day old, at the embryonic stage or the morula stage or the blastocyst stage, right? Nobody were to, at this current stage in our, the technological advancements that we have are great. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of things to do. But how are we going to get a DNA sample from this embryo, right? How are we actually going to do that, right? Well, you have to go there, just to, what kind of question is that anyway? I mean, he's asking me these weird questions, and then after that, he says, well, we got to hurry up and close this case. Why do you have to hurry up and close the case, right? That is a cause for concern. Right? Why is he hurrying up so much? I mean, it's so very important that he's, there's no more appeals, and there's no, don't send me any. You know, that's a common thing. Now that I think about it, he was like, there's no further appeals. Don't send me any more information about this. Don't send an investigator any more information about this this death, right, of a child. Are you kidding me? Like, you know, what difference does it make if I do send information? Like, well, whatever. Anyways, all right, let's continue here. The absence of prosecution, investigation, and all that stuff, these procedures, is not equivalent to a judicial determination that nothing wrongful occurred. It simply means that the system declined to advance the matter under its current standards and thresholds. In that view, the disagreement is not merely moral, but grounded in what is presented as objective biological fact. So, what is the objective biological fact? Is that this is a criminal, right? The greatest crime that has ever occurred, right? The greatest crime that has ever occurred. There is no greater crime that has ever occurred in our world. In our world, this is the greatest, the greatest, the most egregious crime that has ever occurred. Like, there is literally nothing worst that has ever happened. If you can take the life of an 8-day old child, right, through these I'm sure they could do it. If they could, they would do it even earlier, if they could. This is evil, beyond evil. Okay, the crime itself is evil, but everything holding it in place, it's a house of cards, right? This is going to fall. It cannot stand. It will. It one day. At one day, this house of cards will tumble, because I mean, you can't run a civilization on this. This is just. This is just. It's inhumane. It's cruel. It's unusual, right? Why would you do this to a family? We should protect the families, right? There should be a constitutional right to the protection of the family, not this nonsense where you got the quote unquote doctor getting between the husband and wife and pushing these pills that are abortifacient. It's absurd. It's higher up though. It's higher up. It's from I know where it's from. Well, we talked about this extensively on the channel. We know where it's from, but man, does it ever sting deep, deep, deep in my heart, right? That this here, it's been just about a year since I've been on this case, on this matter, and it's not going away. Like there's nobody that can, prove me wrong. And I'm certainly willing to hear any kind of an argument that this is no, that actually it does. It's not an abortifacient, and don't worry, it doesn't cause the death of a developing human. Don't worry about that. And Dr. Michelle Dow is actually a good doctor. She didn't violate her Hippocratic oath. Oh, that would be great. Then I could be like, oh, listen, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. I said all these things, I didn't want to throw you under the bus where you didn't have to be, but I'm not joking. Like, this is not a joke. I mean, this really happened, and it's so frightening to even imagine. This is real. Like, this is real. And the dreams that I have, are recurring dreams about this thing, right? This is a real thing, and it's so frightening to be able to not only perceive this, but to and not only to be able to perceive this and file these complaints and get these weird rejections and based on procedural grounds, you're rejected your complaint on procedural grounds, you're rejected your complaint on, and then that nobody, like all these sheep people who are on a sheeple or whatever, they just cannot contemplate this thing, right? They cannot accept this thing. But who sees that is herself, Dr. Michelle Dow. Doctor, why do I call her a doctor? She knows, right? She's 100% culpable, right? The director of the medical center, not knowing, either she's grossly negligent. She doesn't even know what it is, or she's complicit in the culpability of medical ethics breach and uh, the criminal element of deceiving the woman and saying that the fertilization is not the starting of a pregnancy. Oh no, that happens all the time. The real starting of a pregnancy is the implantation. Now, what kind of what kind of lie is that? So we're breaking the two commandments just on its face, right? You're breaking the Ten Commandments. You're breaking the thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not lie. What else are you breaking? A whole bunch of stuff. You're breaking the law, but you're weaseling yourself out of it. It's ridiculous. I mean, this is a frightening thing. Nice. Thanks for leaving us in this mess. She's gonna die, and we're gonna have to deal with her mess that she left behind. That's what really ticks me off. She's gonna be gone. I hate to say this, but hopefully soon. I mean, she doesn't, probably living healthy and all this stuff. She's, whatever. Um, but she's getting old or whatever. What I'm saying is that the next generation is going to have to, deal with her mess that she left behind. But what generation? She killed them all. She literally killed all the next generation. It's so frightening. I mean, this has to be said. This has to be talked about, right? And the fact that I'm getting like zero views on my YouTube, and the fact that nobody can even pay attention. It's just weird. This is a weird thing. No, okay, so am I in a delusion? Let's say, for example, I'm in a delusion. I would love that. Oh man, that would be great. Just put me in the loony bin already. Just put me in the loony bin. Okay? And then, I'm in a delusion. This is not real. But I mean, you see, I mean, you can see this is life we're talking about. Life. They don't have any respect for the value of the human life at all, right? They don't even understand human life. They don't even understand the value. They don't know what life is. They don't. They to them it's a grandfather. The grandfather's a monkey and all this stuff. The great grandfather's a monkey, right? That's what they truly believe in. And that's the way it is for them. So it takes intellectual honesty to get that um, figured out, and it takes a little bit of time At first you're hopeful that maybe yeah, I could change the world. Yeah, change the world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to see it's going to go down. It's going to go down and down and down. A complete the civilization is going to be completely devastated. Yeah. Well, not in Africa. They're doing pretty well. Yeah, the birth rate is pretty good over there, but not in the West. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.